This is for women who have been holding everything together and quietly wondering when it became this heavy. I was standing in the produce section of Whole Foods, holding a bag of spinach I didn't need, when I felt it again. That wave, not quite dizziness, not quite nausea, something in between. The fluorescent lights suddenly felt too bright, and I could feel sweat starting at the back of my neck, even though the store was cool. I put the spinach back and gripped the edge of the display, waiting for it to pass. A woman next to me, maybe early 30s, pregnant, glowing, reached past me for arugula. She smiled. I tried to smile back, but all I could think was, I used to be you. The wave passed. I grabbed my cart and kept moving, pretending everything was normal. Because that's what you do, right? You keep moving. That night, I stood in front of my closet, trying to find something that fit. Not physically, everything still technically fit. But nothing felt right anymore. The jeans I'd worn for years suddenly felt wrong. The blouse I loved last month now looked like it belonged to someone else. I ended up in the same black pants I'd worn 3 days in a row, and a sweater that hid everything. My daughter knocked on the bedroom door. "Mom, are you ready? We're gonna be late 2 minutes." I called back. I looked at myself in the mirror. 52 years old. Same face, same hair, though grayer now. But somewhere along the way, I'd stopped recognizing the woman looking back at me. When did that happen? There was a time not even that long ago when I knew exactly who I was. I was Sarah's mom. I was David's wife. I was the senior account manager who never missed a deadline. I was the friend who always showed up. I was the daughter who called every Sunday. But lately, all those roles felt like costumes I was wearing, and underneath I wasn't sure there was anything left. I met my friend Linda for coffee the following Tuesday. She's 54, works in real estate, divorced 3 years ago. We've known each other since our kids were in elementary school together. She was already at our usual table when I arrived, stirring her latte slowly, staring out the window. "You okay?" I asked, sliding into the seat across from her. She looked at me, and I saw it immediately. That same look I'd been seeing in my own mirror. "I had a moment yesterday," she said quietly. "I was showing a house to this young couple, mid-30s, first baby on the way, and the wife. She kept talking about the nursery, about their future, about all these plans. And I stood there, thinking, when did I stop having a future? When did I become just maintenance?" I didn't know what to say because I knew exactly what she meant. "I'm not sad," she continued. "I'm not depressed. I don't know. Empty isn't the right word. It's more like muted. Like someone turned down the volume on my life and I didn't notice until now." That conversation stayed with me for days. Muted. That was it. Exactly. Not broken. Not destroyed. Just quieter. Smaller. Less. I started paying attention after that. Really paying attention to the women around me at work, at the grocery store, at my daughter's volleyball games, and I started seeing it everywhere. The woman at the pharmacy counter, probably late 40s, asking the pharmacist in a near whisper about hormone therapy, her eyes down like she was ashamed. My coworker Janet, 56, who used to lead every meeting with confidence, now second-guessing herself, mid-sentence, apologizing for things that didn't need apologies. My sister-in-law who told me over the phone, "I just feel invisible. Like I could walk into a room and nobody would notice. And the worst part, sometimes I don't even notice myself anymore. What is this? Why doesn't anyone talk about this?" I thought about my mother. She'd be 78 now if she were still alive. I tried to remember if she'd ever felt like this. If she'd ever stood in her closet, not recognizing herself. If she'd ever gripped a grocery store display, waiting for a wave to pass. She probably did. But we never talked about it. She never told me. Maybe that's why it feels so isolating now, because we've all been taught to smile through it, to keep moving, to not make a fuss. But here's what I didn't know then. Standing in that Whole Foods, gripping that display, I wasn't alone, not even close. There's a woman in Madrid. I don't know her name, but I heard her story through a friend of a friend. She's 50, works as a translator, never married. One morning, she was walking to work like she'd done 1,000 times before. She passed the same cafe, the same newsstand, the same park bench, and suddenly, she stopped. Not because something was wrong, but because she realized she could remember the last time she actually looked at any of it. She'd been walking through her own life on autopilot for months, maybe years. She stood there on that Madrid sidewalk, people rushing past her, and she thought, when did I disappear? She didn't go to work that day. She sat on that park bench for 2 hours. Just sat there, watching, thinking, crying a little but quietly. The way women our age cry, careful not to disturb anyone. And then she did something small. She went into that cafe she'd passed every day and ordered something she'd never tried before. Some kind of pastry. She sat at a table by the window and ate it slowly. It wasn't a solution. It wasn't a transformation. It was just one small moment of being present in her own life again. I don't know why that story matters to me so much. Maybe because it's so ordinary, so human, no miracle, no revelation. Just one woman deciding to sit down and eat a pastry. But something about it stuck with me. Because maybe that's what this is really about. Not some grand reinvention. Not some spiritual awakening, just small moments of recognition, small acts of presence, small ways of saying, I'm still here. The next morning, I did something I hadn't done in months. I woke up early before the alarm, before David, before the day started. Demanding things from me, I made coffee and sat in the kitchen in the dark, just listening to the silence. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I needed to fill that silence with anything. I just sat there, being now. I want to hear from you. If any part of this story resonates with you, you've felt this muted feeling, this quiet disappearance, please share your experience in the comments below. Your story matters, your voice matters. And when we share these truths with each other, we remind each other that we're not alone. If this touched something in you, please subscribe to this channel and give it a like. It helps us reach more women who need to hear that they're not invisible, that they're not alone, that this feeling has a name, and, more importantly, that it doesn't have to be forever. 3 days later, I was sitting in my car outside the office building where I'd worked for 14 years. The engine was off. I had 7 minutes before my first meeting, and I was just sitting there. Not scrolling through my phone, not checking emails, not rehearsing what I needed to say in the meeting, just sitting. A man walked past my car, someone from accounting. I think hand glanced at me through the window. I could see the question on his face. Is she okay? But he kept walking. Of course he did. I thought about that woman in Madrid again, sitting on her park bench, and I wondered, how many of us are doing this right now? Just sitting, just trying to remember what it feels like to be real. Are you coming to book club Thursday? The text was from Michelle. We'd been in the same book club for 6 years. I looked at it for a long time before responding. The truth was, I hadn't finished the book. Hadn't even opened it. It was sitting on my nightstand with a receipt still marking page 37 from 2 months ago. Not sure yet. We'll let you know, I typed back. Another thing I used to love that now felt like just another obligation. Work that day was strange. I sat through 3 meetings where I heard myself talking, saying all the right things, making all the right points, but it felt like I was watching someone else do it, like I was dubbed over myself. During lunch, I stayed at my desk. I pulled up a browser and typed, "Why do I feel invisible at 52?" The search results shocked me. Thousands of articles, forums, Reddit threads, women everywhere asking the same question. I clicked on one, a forum for women in midlife, and I started reading. One woman wrote, "I went to my high school reunion last month. Men my age walked right past me like I was furniture. The same men who used to flirt with me 30 years ago. I wasn't sad about it, I was just surprised. When did I become furniture?" Another, "My husband isn't mean, he isn't cruel. He just doesn't see me anymore. We can be in the same room for hours, and he doesn't look at me once. Not really look like I could be anyone." Another, "I used to have opinions about everything, strong opinions. Now someone asks me what I think, and I just shrugged. When did I stop having thoughts? I read for 40 minutes, and with every post I felt something shifting inside me. Not hope exactly, more like recognition. Oh, this is real. This is a thing. I'm not making it up." That evening, David asked me what I wanted for dinner. "I don't know," I said. "What do you want?" "I asked you first. I really don't care. Whatever you want is fine." He looked at me for a moment, really looked, and I saw something flicker across his face. Concern? Maybe. On dot or "When did you stop having preferences?" he asked. It wasn't mean. It was genuinely curious, and it hit me like a punch. I thought about it later that night. When did I stop having preferences? About dinner? About movies? About how I spent my weekends? About anything. It had been so gradual, so quiet, like volume being turned down one tiny click at a time, until suddenly you realize you can't hear the music anymore. There's another woman I heard about. This one from Texas. 55, 3 grown kids. Married 32 years. She worked as a nurse for 27 years, then retired last year. For the first month of retirement, she cleaned, organized every closet, every drawer, every cabinet. Deep cleaned the garage, alphabetized the spice rack. Her husband kept saying, "Relax, enjoy yourself. You earned this." But she didn't know how to relax anymore. Didn't know what enjoying herself even meant. One afternoon, she was standing in her spotless kitchen, and her daughter called, "Mom, what are you doing?" "Nothing," she said. "Great. So what are you going to do with all this free time?" "Travel, take up a hobby." "What do you want?" And she realized she had no idea. She'd spent 30 years knowing exactly what everyone else needed. Her patience, but what she needed, what she wanted. Blank, so she tried something. Every morning she asked herself one question. What's one small thing I want today? Not big things, not life-changing things, small things. The first day, the answer was a donut. Just a donut from the bakery she drove past every week, but never stopped at. So she went. She bought a chocolate donut. She sat in her car in the parking lot and ate it. It felt ridiculous and perfect at the same time. The next day, a 20-minute walk, alone, no destination, just walking. The day after that, sitting in the backyard with coffee. No phone, no tasks, just sitting, tiny things, barely worth mentioning. But something was happening. She was starting to hear herself again, faintly, like adjusting the dial on an old radio, searching for the signal. I thought about that. One small thing a day, what did I want? I sat with that question for a long time. The weekend came. Saturday morning, David was playing golf. My daughter was at a friend's house. The house was quiet. I walked into my closet and looked at all those clothes that didn't feel like mine anymore. And then I did something impulsive. I pulled out everything everything and laid it on the bed, every shirt, every pair of pants, every dress I hadn't worn in 3 years, but kept just in case. I tried things on, not to see if they fit, but to see if they felt like me. Most didn't. Some I'd bought because they were on sale, some because I thought I should dress more professionally, some because David said they looked nice, some because they were practical. But which ones did I actually like? I found 3 things. 3 out of an entire closet. A soft gray cardigan I'd forgotten about. A pair of old jeans with a tiny paint stain from when we redid the living room. A white t-shirt that fit perfectly. I put them on, looked in the mirror, and for the first time in months, I thought, okay, this is me. It's strange how something so small can feel so significant. Monday morning, I wore that outfit to work. Janet noticed immediately. "You look different," she said. "Different how?" "I don't know. Just more like yourself." I guess it was the best compliment anyone had given me in years. But here's what I want you to understand. This wasn't a transformation. I didn't wake up fixed. I didn't suddenly love my life again. I still felt muted. I still felt invisible sometimes. I still had moments where I gripped grocery store displays, waiting for waves to pass. But I was learning something important. You don't have to feel good to take one small step. You don't have to have it all figured out to ask yourself what you want for breakfast. You just have to start paying attention again to yourself, to the small things. That week, I did 3 small things. I ordered tea instead of coffee, just to see if I still liked tea. I did. I took a different route home from work, even though it added 5 minutes, just to see something new. I said no to book club, not because I was angry, just because I didn't want to go. And that was enough. Small things, but they were mine. If you're feeling this too, this quiet disappearance, this slow fade, I want you to know something. You don't need permission to want things again. You don't need to wait until you feel better or stronger or more certain. You can start with one ridiculously small thing today. A donut, a walk, a different route home. And please, share in the comments what your small thing might be. What's one tiny thing you want? Saying it out loud matters, and maybe your small thing will inspire someone else to find theirs. If this is helping you feel less alone, please like this video and subscribe. Every subscription tells me that these stories matter, that your story matters. And it helps us build a community of women who refuse to disappear quietly. 2 weeks after the closet incident, something happened that I didn't expect. I was in the checkout line at Target just buying laundry detergent and paper towels. Nothing special when the woman behind me dropped her phone. It clattered across the floor and slid under the candy display. "Oh God," she muttered, crouching down, trying to reach it. I bent down to help. Our eyes met for just a second as we both stretched for the phone, and I saw it. That look, the one I'd been seeing everywhere. The one I saw in my own mirror. I grabbed the phone and handed it to her. "Thank you," she said. Then quieter. "I'm a mess today." "Me too," I said. She laughed. A real laugh. Not polite. Not fake. Real. "How old are you?" she asked suddenly. 52. "I'm 50. Does it get better?" I could have said yes. Could have given her something hopeful and vague. But I didn't. "I don't know yet," I said honestly. "But I'm figuring it out. One small thing at a time." She nodded. Like she understood exactly what I meant. We paid for our things and went our separate ways. I never saw her again. But I thought about that moment for days. Because here's what I was starting to understand. We're all doing this. All of us. Standing in Target. Sitting in cars. Gripping grocery store displays. Trying to remember who we are. And nobody's talking about it. Why aren't we talking about it? That night I did something I hadn't done in years. I called my friend Linda, the one from the coffee shop, and I asked her a direct question. "What do you miss most about yourself?" Silence on the other end. Long silence. Then, "My certainty," she said finally. "I used to be so certain about everything. What I wanted, what I thought, what mattered. Now I second guess everything. Even this answer. I'm second guessing this answer right now. Me too. I said, really? Every day? Another silence. Then she asked, what are you doing about it? Small things, I said. Really small. Like embarrassingly small. Like what? Like I bought myself flowers yesterday. Not for the house, for my desk at work. Just because I wanted to look at something beautiful. Did it help? A little, yeah. A little. That conversation changed something. Because Linda started doing it too. Small things. And she'd text me about them. Took a lunch break. Actually left my desk. Sat outside for 20 minutes. Told my ex-husband no when he asked me to watch the dog. Didn't apologize. Didn't explain. Just no. Threw away the jeans that never fit right. Stopped punishing myself. Small things, but real things. There's one more woman I need to tell you about. This one from California. 58. Worked in corporate finance for 30 years. Practical. Logical. Not emotional, she'd say. Last year she was diagnosed with early menopause. Her doctor was matter-of-fact about it. Here are your options. Here's what to expect. Any questions? She said no. Took her prescriptions, went home. But that night, alone in her apartment, she cried. Not about the menopause exactly. About everything it represented. The end of something. The beginning of something else. The feeling that her body had made a decision without consulting her. For weeks she was angry, at her body at time, at the unfairness of becoming invisible, precisely when she finally knew who she was. Then one Saturday, she was cleaning out her garage and found an old box of art supplies from college. Watercolors she hadn't touched in 35 years. She didn't plan anything, she just opened them. Set up at her kitchen table, started painting. She was terrible at first. Rusty, frustrated. The colors bled together wrong. Nothing looked how she wanted, but she kept going. Not because she wanted to be good at it. Not because she was trying to find herself or heal or any of that. Just because it felt like something. After months of feeling like nothing, she painted for 3 hours that day. And when she was done, she looked at what she'd made. This messy, imperfect, strange little painting, and she thought, this is mine. Not good, not bad, just mine. That's what I keep coming back to. That word, mine. What's mine? What's actually mine? Not the things I do for other people. Not the roles I play. Not the ways I've learned to disappear quietly. But what's mine? I started making a list. Not of big things, just true things. I want shorter hair. I miss singing. I used to sing all the time. I don't want to host Thanksgiving this year. I like walking in the rain. I need more silence. I matter. I don't actually like book club. I like reading alone. I like mornings better than evenings. That last one was hard to write. Hard to even think. I matter. Here's what nobody tells you about this stage of life. You don't get a guidebook. You don't get a clear path. You don't get someone telling you, here's exactly how to do this. You just get yourself quieter than before, older than before, different than before, and you have to decide. Am I going to keep disappearing, or am I going to start, very slowly, very imperfectly, showing up again? Not the way I used to. I can't go back. None of us can. But maybe in a new way, a truer way. Last week, I cut my hair, not dramatically, just shorter, lighter, easier. David looked surprised when I came home. Wow, that's different. Is it okay? I started to ask, then stopped myself. I like it, I said instead, and I did. I'm not going to tell you I'm fixed now. I'm not going to say I woke up one day and loved myself again. That would be a lie. I still have hard days. Days where I feel invisible. Days where I don't recognize myself. Days where the waves come and I have to grip something and wait. But I also have moments now, small ones, where I feel like me again. Not the old me, a different me. One I'm still getting to know. And maybe that's what this really is. Not an ending, not a loss, not a disappearance. A becoming, slow, imperfect, uncertain, but mine. So if you're in that Whole Foods right now, gripping that display, waiting for the wave to pass, want you to know you're not alone. Thousands of us are doing this right now, all over the world. In Spain, in Texas, in California, in your own town. We're all trying to remember who we are, and maybe that's enough to start with. Just knowing we're not alone. Just knowing this is real. Just knowing one small thing can matter. What's your small thing going to be today? Please share your story in the comments. Tell us your one small thing. Tell us what you miss about yourself. Tell us what you're figuring out. Your voice matters here. Your experience matters. And when we speak these truths out loud together, we make space for every woman who thought she was the only one feeling this way. If this story touched you, any part of it felt true, please subscribe to this channel and give it a like. It's how we find each other. It's how we build this community of women who refuse to disappear, who choose one small thing at a time to show up again. You matter. Your becoming matters. And I'm here figuring it out alongside you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for still being here.